If you knew the truth, would you still want to be famous? 10 years from now, you won't regret the interviews. You'll regret staying silent. What you're about to hear is real. Sealed courtroom testimony made public for the first time. Viewer discretion is advised. Day 8 of the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. The witness, hidden for over a decade until now. Jennifer Lawrence. Not a rumor, not a theory. Her name was protected because of what she saw, what she almost became, and what she refused to allow. Her story begins not with a contract, but a torn letter, handwritten and dated 2012. To whoever's pulling the strings, this is your last warning. You won't buy me, I won't disappear, and I won't be the next Cassie. She was 22. Cassie hadn't even filed her lawsuit yet. Judge, Miss Lawrence, you may begin in your own words. I thought I was going to a charity gala. Beverly Hills. Creative branding, they said. A celebration of young actors. But it wasn't that. They took my phone, said it was for privacy, made me sign a release I didn't read. There were no cameras, just dark hallways, red lights, men in suits, and women in masks. One woman, she said, was a famous actress. Recognizable, but shaking. They told me it was a game, that I didn't have to play. But when the doors closed, no one left early. You smiled, you played your part, and you prayed you weren't chosen. She remembers the room with no name, just a number. One girl came out crying, another never came out at all. That smell, that sound, it stayed with me for days. The court introduced a sealed report. Symptoms of trauma, dissociation. The media called it exhaustion after Hunger Games. But the truth, it was far darker. I still hear it sometimes. The silence that follows horror. Then came the moment that froze the courtroom. Jennifer was asked, "Did you witness any criminal behavior?" She hesitated, then answered, "Not legally, but morally, yes." One of the girls looked younger than me. I asked someone, "Who is she?" He said, "She's just here for training," like she was a thing, a tool, like she didn't even exist. The judge gave her the letter, the same one written days after the Beverly Hills event. Her voice cracked but didn't break. "I don't want the car. I don't want the contract. I don't want to be someone's puppet with good lighting. I want to survive this industry. That's all." The judge asked if she wanted to pause. Jennifer shook her head. "Because it doesn't matter who I am. Fame doesn't protect you in rooms like that. You're either useful or replaceable." The jury sat in silence. The clerk added one final note for the record. This is her only statement. No press, no appearances, no spin. The transcript, the voice, the trembling hands. They weren't just evidence. They were a warning. The judge offered her water. She didn't touch it. The prosecutor leaned in now, tone sharper. "Ms. Lawrence, did anyone from Mr. Combs' circle contact you again?" Jennifer nodded. "Yes. In 2017, new names, same energy. After her Oscar, after the global success, the invitations began, networking retreats, branded events, creative collectives." One stood out, an encrypted email sent through a former publicist. "We're curating a retreat for forward-thinking female talent, hosted by Sean Love Combs, Santa Ann's off-grid, no press, just peace." She declined, but they didn't stop. A week later, her phone rang, blocked number. "I still don't know why I answered. Maybe I was curious. Maybe part of me wanted closure." The voice on the line introduced herself. "Ariel." Jennifer confirmed the call under oath. "It's not like last time," she said. "That house is gone. The tunnels are sealed. This is about rebirth." The room gasped. "Order," the judge said. The prosecutor asked her to clarify. "Miss Lawrence, what did you mean by tunnels? Had you ever mentioned them publicly?" She shook her head. "No one knew I'd seen the hallway. No one knew about the second room, the padded one. I never told anyone, not even my family." So how did Ariel know? Her voice was calm, too calm, like she was reading a script. She didn't write. She said, "You don't have to do anything you're uncomfortable with. Just show up, walk through. That's all he needs." I hung up. Jennifer reported the call to her legal team. They advised silence. Let it go. But the next day, inside her trailer on the set of Mother, she found an envelope, no return address. Inside, her original NDA, unsigned, dated 2012. Her name typed at the top, and across the front, in red ink, "Reminder." "That broke me," she said. "That was them saying, 'We're still watching. We still own the story.'" She didn't tell anyone, but she wrote in her private journal, a letter now marked as Exhibit 17E. "If I disappear, send this. It wasn't an accident. It started in the Red Room. It ends here." The courtroom stood still. Even the defense was silent. Then came the question that shifted everything. "Did you ever consider going public?" Jennifer looked down. "Yes, in 2021, right after Cassie vanished from the media. She heard whispers of a vault, of videos, of a settlement that never made it to trial. I started connecting the dots, not just what happened to me, but what almost happened to Cassie, to Aubrey, even someone from my team." The judge called for a 5-minute recess. No one moved. Because this wasn't just fear, it was infrastructure, a system, a silence machine. She was never supposed to speak again. When court resumed, the prosecutor changed course. "Ms. Lawrence, did any public figure ever acknowledge your silence, directly or indirectly?" Jennifer nodded. "Once, at the Oscars, Iki Ben Ondoka's post-event dinner. An older actress she barely knew. No shared projects, no small talk." She pulled Jennifer aside, whispered, "I saw your name once. Just be careful who's still watching." The court asked her to name the woman. Jennifer declined. She was scared too. The prosecutor didn't push. Instead, they presented Exhibit 17G, a photo taken by Jennifer, April 2022, an envelope, handwritten, left on her doorstep. No name, no note, just a single flash drive taped to the inside. She never plugged it in. She gave it to her legal team. They ran diagnostics. The flash drive was blank. But 2 weeks later, a tabloid photographer who had taken unauthorized photos of Jennifer at a private event vanished. No trace, no leads, just a gap, like someone edited him out of the story. Jennifer never posted about the event. It was private, off the books. The tunnels are sealed. "This is about rebirth," the room gasped. "Order," the judge said. The prosecutor asked her to clarify. "Miss Lawrence, what did you mean by tunnels? Had you ever mentioned them publicly?" She shook her head. "No one knew I'd seen the hallway. No one knew about the second room, the padded one. I never told anyone, not even my family." "So how did Ariel know?" Her voice was calm, too calm, like she was reading a script. She didn't write. She said, "You don't have to do anything you're uncomfortable with. Just show up, walk through. That's all he needs." I hung up. Jennifer reported the call to her legal team. They advised silence. Let it go. But the next day, inside her trailer on the set of Mother, she found an envelope, no return address. Inside, her original NDA, unsigned, dated 2012. Her name typed at the top, and across the front, in red ink, "Reminder." "That broke me," she said. "That was them saying, 'We're still watching. We still own the story.'" She didn't tell anyone, but she wrote in her private journal, a letter now marked as Exhibit 17E. "If I disappear, send this. It wasn't an accident. It started in the Red Room. It ends here." The courtroom stood still. Even the defense was silent. Then came the question that shifted everything. "Did you ever consider going public?" Jennifer looked down. "Yes, in 2021, right after Cassie vanished from the media. She heard whispers of a vault, of videos, of a settlement that never made it to trial. I started connecting the dots, not just what happened to me, but what almost happened to Cassie, to Aubrey, even someone from my team." The judge called for a 5-minute recess. No one moved. Because this wasn't just fear, it was infrastructure, a system, a silence machine. She was never supposed to speak again. When court resumed, the prosecutor changed course. Ms. Lawrence, did any public figure ever acknowledge your silence, directly or indirectly? Jennifer nodded. Once, at the Oscars, Iki bin Ondoka's post-event dinner. An older actress she barely knew. No shared projects, no small talk. She pulled Jennifer aside, whispered, "I saw your name once. Just be careful who's still watching." The court asked her to name the woman. Jennifer declined. She was scared too. The prosecutor didn't push. Instead, they presented Exhibit 17G, a photo taken by Jennifer, April 2022, an envelope, handwritten, left on her doorstep, no name, no note, just a single flash drive taped to the inside. She never plugged it in. She gave it to her legal team. They ran diagnostics. The flash drive was blank. But 2 weeks later, a tabloid photographer who had taken unauthorized photos of Jennifer at a private event vanished. No trace, no leads, just a gap, like someone edited him out of the story. Jennifer never posted about the event. It was private, off the books. She never told anyone, but she kept it. That room had 3 cameras. One was above the mirror. Tell your team nothing. The courtroom held its breath. Exhibit 18A, a scan of the note, authenticated and timestamped by her assistant. The prosecutor leaned in. "Ms. Lawrence, did you ever see footage from that night?" Jennifer's voice dropped. "Not from that night, but there was a clip." She saw it on a laptop, belonging to a rep who had worked briefly with both Combs's brand team and a streaming agency. The file wasn't labeled. No names, no timestamps, just a folder titled Event. The clip was only 12 seconds, no faces, but she recognized the room, the chair, the mirror. She reported it. The laptop was wiped. The rep resigned days later. The defense objected, hearsay. The judge sustained, but Jennifer's eyes were full. "I don't know who was in that footage, but someone knew I'd seen it." 2 weeks later, her trailer was broken into. Nothing was taken, but everything was rearranged. That's when she knew. This wasn't random. It wasn't just one party in 2012. It was all connected. Cameras, files, people who knew. The prosecutor closed her notebook. One final question for the segment. "What made you finally come forward?" Jennifer took a breath. "Because when I saw the word trafficking in that indictment, I knew it wasn't just Cassie. It could have been me." The judge called for recess. And this time, even the jury looked afraid. Because the woman on the screen, she wasn't a movie star anymore. She was a witness, and her silence had just expired. Jennifer returned to the stand after recess. This time her voice was louder, clearer, as if everything she'd been holding back was now spilling into the room. The prosecutor resumed. "Ms. Lawrence, we'd like to discuss the contracts, specifically the clauses you believe were included to silence you." Jennifer nodded. "It started in 2013, a multi-year endorsement deal. On paper, it looked perfect, but the company was a shell, tied to Combs Enterprises. It looked like a fragrance deal, clean, prestigious, until page 37. Client shall refrain from participating in or disclosing any non-public development sessions involving Combs-affiliated figures, past or present." Jennifer paused. "I'd never signed anything like that before. It wasn't a morality clause. It was a muzzle, one they put on me before I even opened my mouth." She declined the offer, but another came. This time, a scripted TV deal, different network, different agency, same phrase. It became a pattern, different wording, same meaning. If I spoke, the money stopped. The prosecution introduced Exhibit 18C, a redacted breakdown of contracts signed by 3 female artists over 5 years, all with similar language. One clause stood out. Client forfeits all arbitration rights in matters of emotional conduct, brand damage, and legacy disruption tied to industry mentorships. Jennifer read it aloud, then said, "Legacy disruption. That's what they're scared of." Then the bombshell. "Are you aware of any other high-profile women who were approached and walked away?" She closed her eyes, then opened them. "Yes, one. A-list. Bigger than me." The woman was scheduled to attend the same 2020 retreat Jennifer had declined. 2 days before the flight, she pulled out. She wouldn't name her. But she shared the text. "If you value peace, don't go. There are mirrors there." The courtroom froze. Jennifer explained, "In those circles, mirrors didn't mean reflections. It meant surveillance. It meant you're being watched." Then for the first time, Jennifer detailed a confrontation. Late 2022, a fundraising gala in Los Angeles. In the coat check area, an older man approached, a lawyer she remembered from a past branding meeting. "Still walking around like you're untouchable, huh?" She asked him what that meant. He smiled. "You should have signed the first time." That night, she left early. She told her team, "I'm done. I'm not afraid of these people anymore." The courtroom went quiet again. Then Jennifer leaned forward. "They've spent years making us believe we need their approval, that their parties are power, that silence is the price of fame. But I'm still here, and I didn't pay it." The judge called an early recess. As the jurors rose, a woman in the second row wiped her eyes. Because Jennifer hadn't just survived the machine, she was dismantling it, one sentence at a time. The next morning, she returned to the stand. No makeup, black clothes, hair pulled back. This wasn't for the press. There were no cameras, only the record. The prosecutor wasted no time. "Ms. Lawrence, were there any public gestures, framed as positive, that you now believe were part of a broader effort to silence or manipulate you?" Jennifer didn't hesitate. "Yes, March 2023. I was nominated for a Creative Empowerment Award by an organization." Jennifer had never heard of the sponsor, the Combs Foundation. She declined the invitation, but that didn't stop the show. A press draft was sent to her team before she even confirmed. The speech was already written. It quoted her, thanking Diddy for investing in young voices. She never said those words. Exhibit 18F, a pre-written PR release from a boutique agency, found in her assistant's spam folder. The quote was fake. So was the award. Jennifer released a statement. She wouldn't be attending. The story disappeared in under 48 hours. No one asked why. No one followed up. It was like the entire moment had been scripted, and I ruined the ending. But something did follow her home. 2 weeks later, a box appeared at her building. No return address, no postage. Just left at the security desk. Inside, a pair of latex gloves, a vial of glitter, a Polaroid. The photo was blacked out. No image, just a caption. "You looked better in red lighting." The courtroom gasped. "Order," the judge said. Jennifer confirmed. It was reported to LAPD, filed as low-grade harassment. Untraceable, but she knew what it was. That was the freak-off room, the lighting, the gloves. It was a message. "Did you feel your life was in danger?" Jennifer answered. "Not always. But every time I said no, they acted like I didn't exist." Then came her final statement for the day. "There's a myth in Hollywood that if you work hard, play it safe, and smile enough, you'll be protected. That's a lie. I did everything right, and they still came for me." She looked across the courtroom. Not at the jury, not at the lawyers. She looked into the judge's eyes, then lifted a folded piece of paper from her lap. "You want to know why I'm not afraid anymore? Because this letter existed before the movies, before the awards, before the magazine covers. This is who I was, before the world knew my name, and now it's who I am again." The court transcript ended with a note. Witness stepped down. Gallery remained silent for 37 seconds. Because for the first time, it wasn't about what happened behind closed doors. It was about the woman who walked back out and still chose to tell the truth. The next morning, she returned to the stand. But this time, she was holding something new. Not a journal, not a file, not a contract, just a worn envelope. She didn't explain it. Not yet. The prosecutor spoke with a softened voice. Ms. Lawrence, did you ever speak with Miss Ventura, Cassie, after her lawsuit was made public? Jennifer nodded. Yes, once, privately. They met in a back hallway of a studio lot. No press, no security, just two women who recognized something in each other. She didn't say much. She hugged me. She said, "Thank you for not asking questions back then. I couldn't have answered them." Jennifer confirmed she'd seen Cassie before, years earlier. In rooms we weren't supposed to be in. Rooms with candles, rooms with lists, rooms with watchers. I didn't know what I was seeing, but she did, and she still smiled. That always stayed with me. The prosecutor introduced Exhibit 18I, a legal email chain from Cassie's legal team. They had requested confirmation of a witness letter, dated 2012, long before the lawsuit. Jennifer, still holding the envelope, was asked, "Ms. Lawrence, is there anything else you'd like to say on record?" She didn't pause. "Yes, I want to talk about what happens after. After the cameras, after the red carpets, after the standing ovations, after the world cheers for you and forgets to ask if you're okay." She looked directly at the jury. "I've performed on the biggest stages. I've held golden statues. I've worn gowns worth more than most homes. And not once did any of it erase what I saw in that house." Her voice cracked. "That house, it lives in your head. The smell, the cold, the silence, the mirrors." Then she said something that made the court clerk stop typing. "Sometimes when I get a standing ovation, I wonder if one of the people clapping was in that room." Silence. "I'm not here for pity or revenge. I'm here because I know there are girls watching this trial right now wondering if anyone will believe them." She looked into the gallery. "I believe you, even if you never say it out loud." Then she reached into the envelope. One final page. "This was the last line I wrote in my journal after that night." She read aloud. "I got out, but I still carry the door inside me." The prosecutor nodded. The judge leaned forward, and Jennifer said her final words, under oath. "I was never supposed to testify. I was supposed to vanish, gracefully, quietly. That's what they always count on." She looked around the courtroom. "But not this time, because I'm still here. And now, the door is open." The court transcript ends. Witness dismissed. Jury visibly shaken. No closing remarks. Session adjourned. 4:52 p.m. And for the first time in 8 days, no one asked for the cameras to be let in, because the truth had already escaped.